The topics discussed and the information provided on this program is for general information. The hosts of this show are not medical professionals and are expressing their personal views and stories related to their individual lives. Their views are not intended to be used or taken as medical information. If you or a family member have suffered a traumatic brain injury, you should seek help from a practicing licensed physician.
We hope to help you. We want you to know that there's some life after the hurt.
Hi, I'm Matt Duffin. This would be August 2019, I do believe. Actually, it's still June, but we're here. Again, I have Uriah Steffen on my show. He's a great guy. It was on last month. He's talking things with amputees, people with amputees. Mm-hmm. Things would be my cat. I got a three-legged cat.
Nice.
I don't have him a prosthetic yet, but 11 years he's waiting.
There are companies that make those.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't know how I'd put it on him now. He's so used to walking around with three legs, and we call him Lefty. So I got the cat part and fun part of the life out. How's everybody? How's your chronic disease? Mine's happy because I have somebody like Uriah with me, and we're having a great talk about things that we do know and I don't know about. Mm-hmm. I know a little about athletics. You said you played football in high school. I played football in high school.
Yeah.
He was a defensive end. I was a defensive end. Oh.
Yeah. Played defensive line in high school. Had fun with it. Never really saw myself pursuing that after high school. Threw shot and discus and track and field in high school as well. But when I left for college, and didn't really have much of a desire to get back into that.
Well, those aren't the running sports.
No, they're not. No, if it was running, I was not doing it in high school. It just wasn't happening. And I didn't fall in love with running until I was in college a little bit. Ran quite a bit in college, just for fun, just to stay in shape. Kind of offset the amount of alcohol that I was drinking, but yeah, gotta somewhat stay in shape, right?
Yeah, because real quick, I can remember when I think I was a freshman or sophomore. Mm-hmm. We were out running in the morning, doing our laps around, and it was real foggy. Mm-hmm. Couldn't see. So me and my buddy, he'll go nameless, we stopped at the other end and let everybody just keep going. When they came back for the other lap, we picked back up with them. We got away with it, we thought.
Somebody noticed.
Yeah. It was discussed, and we ran until everybody got tired of watching us. Mm-hmm. So
in college, I picked up the running. As I mentioned in the last show, cycling was kind of a way for me to mode of transportation. But shortly after that, it fell into more of a love of cycling. I was passionate about it. I enjoyed it, just feeling the wind through my hair at the time. Just pushing myself to speeds that I didn't know you could travel, just on a bicycle. So that was what motivated me to ride, and to ride fast, and to ride hard. It was just that, and then kind of got back into running too. As I was riding my bike, got back into running just to kind of spend some time alone, kind of work on recovery and deal with the thoughts that were in my head. And that was my time to be alone, and then led up to the accident. But after
I spent a lot of time at first riding a bicycle, a three-wheeler. Mm-hmm. I mean, but you know, I was riding in little marathon things they had in Indianapolis for at the time, and it helped boost up my feeling of myself during my recovery.
Absolutely.
And again, I'm like you, I didn't run the lap.
So the running mixed in with the riding. After the accident, it took about 4 years before I was able to have the ability to run comfortably again. I got back on the bike as soon as I could. I was up, the minute I got a prosthesis, I even tried riding my bike without the prosthesis. That didn't end so well. Didn't result in any more surgeries, but I did fall.
We all have to learn.
Yes, exactly. So I decided not to get back on the bike again after that, but got back on the bike once I got my prosthesis. It was probably week number 2 that I got my leg, after I got my leg, that I started riding again. And I wasn't to the same level of endurance that I was riding before, but I worked my way up to it.
Did the ghost pains bother you much?
So I really didn't have many phantom pains. I had some year 1, had some severe phantom pain year 1 that kind of dwindled through year 1 into year 2. After I got my prosthesis, they really kind of cut back to a couple times a year, and it's probably been 2-3 years since I've really had anything severe like stop me dead in my tracks. I'll have phantom sensations where it feels like ants are crawling across my toes or the wind is blowing across the hair on my foot or my leg. I can feel that still. But as far as the shooting pains, the burning sensation in the heel, the cramping of the foot,
Right.
I don't really have much of that anymore. Now that's not the normal. You talk to most amputees, they've got phantom pains their entire life.
I was going to say, I've heard that's like brain injury, it's there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just there.
There's times that sensation, that feeling that you can move things, that's always there. I can sit here and I can feel like I can wiggle my toes, but I know it's not happening.
But your mind's doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what the mind will do,
Absolutely.
whether your body's there or not.
Absolutely.
I believe they call it dreams for you regulars. In the sleep world, you're dreaming, and yeah, you've been there. Well, we've been there,
Mm-hmm.
and we know what the pain felt like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somebody kicks me in that area, it might hurt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's. My daughter was jumping around the other day and jumped on my foot, and out of habit, response, I yelled out, "Ouch!" But in reality, I didn't feel any of it. But that was just the reaction that I had.
It's a normal human reaction sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That comes out of this. It's a certain thought, you know. It's just a normal thought. There's a name for it, Dr. Backhouse. I forget. But you know, it's just a sudden thought, and
Mm-hmm.
it's fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very disturbing to us.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's like, well, no, I'm acting normal. What do you mean I sound stupid? You know? And you're laughing because I'm laughing at some of this stuff. And I hope the people out there that are going through the things we are too, because Uriah's got an attitude like I like to see, like I like to have, that it didn't stop me.
No. This ultimately didn't stop me. I had several people tell me that, you know, you'll probably never ride a bike again, or you'll probably never run again. And the whole mentality of accepting that failure, or accepting that never do this again, or I can't do that again, wasn't part of my mentality, wasn't part of my vocabulary. I knew that I would ride a bike again. I knew that I would run again. I just didn't know when it was going to be.
Right.
And so fast forward, you know, when my time at RHI, I got introduced to the sports program. And so fast forward in 2 years, 3 years, I'm looking at, okay, I think that I've got the ability to run again. I've been running on a treadmill. I've ran a couple times outside. I've been lifting pretty heavily and training pretty heavily. I'd like to compete again. And so I'd like to do something. So I reached out to RHI and was like, what do you guys have for cycling? What do you guys have for running? What do you guys have for this? And they're like, well, how do you feel about creating something? So I was like, okay. So they had a hand cycling program. But very quickly we got into talking about different events, different things. So we talked about track and field, which they now have a track and field program, which is phenomenal. I think this is their first year of implementing it. They have the hand cycling. They've got so many different other activities as well.
Well, that's why
phenomenal.
I think Janine's name is running across the
Yes.
bottom of her screen or something. But
Yeah.
it'll open up your lives if you have chronic problems you need to do.
If you've got a physical disability, a brain injury, something that's holding you back from doing the things that you want to do, it's worth getting involved in some of the programs that they have, because it can really open your mind to the idea that you're able to do way more than what you ever thought you possibly could. And once you experience that, you don't want to stop. You want to be like, okay, well, now I want to try this. Oh, you have water skiing? I want to try that. Oh, there's downhill skiing, snow skiing? Let's try that one.
I haven't done that downhill skiing yet.
Yeah,
water
that
skiing,
terrifies me.
with these legs, I've done them a few times, and here again in a week or so, we go back out.
Yeah, it is coming up here soon, isn't it?
Dan Reed, I tried to get him on the show, but we was a little far. He's a Paralympian. He was a water skier that learned through RHI, through our, and he's won a gold medal in it.
Yeah.
Other medals too. He's great. He's a great guy.
He is. He's a phenomenal man.
Yeah, he's been on my radio show a couple times, and I see him every year when we go skiing.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he went through 2 brain injuries.
Mm-hmm.
He had one, then got another one when he was playing volleyball after he thought he recovered and put him down.
Mm-hmm.
But he got back up, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
You get back up.
One of the things that I recently heard, that if you're going to fall, try and fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. That was one of the things that I heard recently, and that really stuck out to me, because it is true. If you can see the world around you, you can still look up and see the positive things going on in your life, you are much more likely to get back up and get going again.
Well, it makes all kinds of sense, because your brain's function. Okay, I got to get there. I got to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tragically, I guess, I used to have a falling problem when they was figuring out the medications for me.
Mm-hmm.
My hardwood floor was about killing me. I was falling down. And, you hit your head, and you're trying to get up. I didn't have the strength or the know-how to get up, but I could see everything around me. I could see my cast and, get up.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't quite do it. I'd keep hitting my head, which is not a good thing. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But that's when I started getting educated on the different types of seizures there are in this world. So lay there. If you fall down, lay there unless you can get up. If you medically have problems, I'm not a doctor.
Probably seek out the medical attention that you might need at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you're down there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And if you tripped, then the reason is because you tripped. But if you hit your head on the way down, if you can see, that's fine. Great, get you. But at some point, you're probably going to need some help.
Mm-hmm.
God knows I do. Every day.
So then, leading with RHI, I quickly became one of their elite athletes, and started an ambassador program with them. So really trying to promote what they do, and really kind of helping them out too, volunteering at a lot of different events.
So people don't need to be confused. You didn't have to go to RHI for anything.
No.
Rehab, recovery, anything. Just join the team.
Yeah. If you want to volunteer, go on their website. There's links to get you to volunteer. If you want to participate in the events, go onto the website. They've got a calendar of different events coming up. Check out their Facebook page as well. I've got all kinds of things coming up. So you can sign up and register for them.
We have an Olympic archer from Indiana.
Yeah, there's
too.
an archery program as well. Yeah. John's a great guy.
I've met him once, but I didn't get to talk to him. But at the galas, you ever been to one of the galas?
I never had the opportunity to get there to one of those.
You meet so many people, and your mind's just
So they actually had the opportunity through that sponsorship, through that sports program, was able to become an elite athlete of RHI, and then that sponsorship gave me the opportunity to participate in local triathlons, which I never really saw myself as a swimmer, but I grew up close to lakes and a pool, and then I was a big cyclist. I enjoyed running, so I thought, why not throw the swimming into it and see what happens? So I participated.
They don't have shot put, so I'm going to swim.
Participated in a few triathlons and instantly fell in love with it. The sport and just what you push yourself through to accomplish that end result, just to cross the finish line. There's nothing else like it.
Is there several triathlons?
Triathlons or
triathlons a year, a summer?
So
Different sections of the country, I suppose.
yeah, well, like with any event, any athletic event, you could probably find a 5K or a triathlon every weekend if you look. And there's quite a few different ones going on here in Indiana and Indianapolis area.
So, like the races, the runs and the walks they have before the 500, say, you know, they have the ability for us disabled people to be in those too, right?
Absolutely.
Not necessarily a triathlon.
Right, just a 5K or your mini marathon. There's a wave of individuals who have different physical disabilities that participate in those events as well. So they're all starting at different times and going different paces, but there's that opportunity to participate in almost any event that you want here locally and nationally and internationally too. So triathlons led me to, so I competed in my first one in Brownsburg, Indiana here last year, a little over a year ago. And that kind of set me off onto what's next. Where else can I go? Because this was fun. I want to do this again. So next one I went up to Hammond, Indiana, that's northwestern Indiana. Participated with Leon's Triathlon up there. And that's where I met an organization called Dare to Try. They're an organization out of Chicago that helps individuals with physical disabilities pursue active lifestyles through triathlons. So they hold camps to help individuals learn how to do a triathlon, learn how to swim, learn how to ride a bike, learn how to run again. They're connected with a prosthetist up there who makes the prosthetic components. He's able to fit people with amputees with the prosthetics to run, modify bikes if they need to. So I got hooked up with them. I spent the remainder of last year kind of going to different events that they were going to be at, different triathlons, and really got connected with them really well. So those are two of my major sponsors, is RHI and Dare to Try, and both organizations are phenomenal with getting the disabled population back up and active again. And just pursuing active lifestyles.
As far as the active lifestyle is part of it, I'm sure, because the social aspect
Absolutely
is tremendous. I know it is in the brain injured community. We talked earlier by ourselves about, I like being around brain injured people myself.
Yeah.
You know, he likes being around people with prosthetics, and we just have a communication.
Yeah.
Same eyes, whatever it might be. And obviously, we get along with everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you got into managing and understanding the different prosthetics, I suppose, arms and.
Yep. I worked.
There's this one kid that goes skiing with us every year. He's got one leg. That's it. You know, he's got nothing to hold on to. Nothing. He just sits in the waiver that won't kill you.
Oh, the ski
Hopefully.
chair.
Ski chair or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's got wave riders on the side. I like riding it because you ain't got to do anything. You just sit there.
Makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got regular skis. You sit and hold and all that stuff too. Yeah, I like them real well.
Yeah.
But
that pursuit, that meeting Dare to Try kind of really set me up too with future goals. So I always had the idea that I wanted to compete in something, but I didn't know how competitive I wanted to be. I quickly learned that I was gifted with athletics. The cycling and the running comes very easy to me. The swimming came very natural as well. That they hooked me up with a development program to kind of guide me in towards Paralympics is the ultimate goal. I was hopeful and thinking 2020, but I don't know if that's going to happen now. Just with everything that's leading up to it, it's so close, and learning what you have, the criteria you have to have, and that plan that's involved with it. It's much more detailed. And so 2020 is still a possibility, but it's kind of far out there. But 2024 and 2028 are definitely way more attainable goals as far as Paralympics go. But so watch out.
where are the Olympics in 2020?
2020 is going to be in Tokyo, Japan.
Tokyo.
Yep.
That's where the Olympics and the Paralympics usually follow right
Correct.
after
The Olympics will be July 21st through August 1st, I believe. And then about 3 to 4 weeks later, the Paralympics will come in and do the exact same course and events.
So curious, how far you got to run, walk, and swim, or ride a bike?
Yeah. So we consider it a sprint distance. Is the only thing that I technically have to do for Paralympics, and it's a 750 up to 800 meter swim, 20 kilometer bike ride, and a 5K run. So you're looking at half a mile swim, about a 12-mile bike ride, and then a 3.1 mile run. So, and we consider it a sprint distance because you really are going all out for that hour of time that you're competing.
If you want to come in close to first.
Yes. There's some really, really fast people out there in this world, so it's fun to compete with them.
So they do it in the way that you ride a bike first to warm up?
So you swim first. So the fear is that you always want to get people fresh in the water, not have them worn out, because you don't want people to drown. So swim first, transition 1, bike second, transition 2, run first, run third, and finish it.
And it takes how long to do all that, hopefully?
Depending on the individual, somewhere between an hour to an hour and 20 minutes.
So it's not bad. Get out there and start lifting weights right now. You can look like this. I can't. They ate all mine. But
training definitely takes up a lot of time.
Sure.
When I look at my schedule, my training schedule, it's about 2 hours a day, 5 days, 6 days a week. And then anything above and beyond that is on me. And so I'll typically throw in an hour of lifting and training as well, strength training.
I believe in that. Mm-hmm. When you're in rehab coming back from anything, they want you to do 20 steps, do 21.
Mm-hmm. Do a few more.
Do 22. Do 24 the next day.
Yeah.
You might not want to go to 30. You can't exert yourself too much right off the bat. They have those rules, but just prove yourself that you can do something else.
Having those daily challenges is important, as it shows you what you're capable of doing, and also helps build your confidence up. To know that when you get out into the real world again, after you're done with rehab and therapy, you have the ability to overcome any obstacle that might be in front of you.
Sure, and you'll find rest time, if you will.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got nothing else to do.
Rest, what I've learned, rest is very, very important. So there's always that one day that you have that there's no training on that day. You are going to sit down, you are going to rest, enjoy some pizza, and relax.
I try to do that on Sundays anymore. It's my day I quit going to church, unfortunately, but it's my day to rest. I was in an accident again in March. My head went through a windshield.
Wow.
I'm okay.
That's good.
But it gave me a concussion and knocked me stupid for a couple of months. I call it stupid. It's not. It knocked me back.
Yeah.
It took me a while. I'm just now starting to feel better. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I was in. I don't know what I came in. It's kind of like a head trauma in the first place. You don't know.
Yeah.
But it was a hard one. Sometimes you can't avoid things in your life.
Yeah.
You put yourself in positions to get hurt. There's a good percentage of a chance that you probably will. Mm-hmm. If you put yourself in a position to be safe while you're doing what you're wanting to do, then you're probably going to be okay, and there's going to be people to pick you up if need be.
Yeah, it's always important too to kind of think about those instances as well. Kind of plan ahead a little bit. I know it's not always easy to plan ahead when you're in certain situations, but to have somewhat of a game plan or a fall plan, I guess.
Sure, fall plan.
Risk management.
Because that comes from you'll understand it, and if you don't understand it, then you probably should have by now.
Yeah. That's also where it's important too to talk to other people who may have been through that, because they're going to help give you some tips and pointers on, watch out for this or watch out for that.
Right.
Kind of getting into that life coaching or mentor, somebody who's been through that process, who's successfully come out on the other side and appears to be living independently and successfully happy and joyful. They're able to find that spot where they're able to now influence somebody else and be like, okay.
We've talked about life coaching, and you hadn't particularly had one come your way. You're working your way to maybe being one sometime.
Right. When I went through my trauma and my situation, I didn't have anybody to lean into. Nobody kind of stepped out and said, hey, you know, I've been through this, you know, why don't we talk about this? Where can I help you out? I didn't have anybody like that. And so for me to have the opportunity to kind of initiate that program around here and to say, you know what, let me take on this responsibility and be a life coach to some people and really say, you know, I've been through this. I don't know it all, but I'm willing to learn with you as well.
There you
but
go.
Here's what I've done so far. Maybe we can talk.
And I don't think I made any mistakes getting to this level.
I've made plenty of mistakes. I've fallen a few times,
Well, I mean,
but I've learned from those mistakes
Right.
to say, I shouldn't do that again. Let's try option 2 instead.
Right. I misspoke when I said it, you know, because I believe in the therapy and the work and the things that I've done in Indiana University that sent me to school to understand brain injuries.
Yeah.
I believe in that.
And successes will not come without failures, will not come without mistakes. And so we have to go through some of those failures and those mistakes before we find that success. And now success is going to look different for each individual, but to get to that point, we're going to have to fail some.
Right. Right. I wish you nothing but the best of luck, of course.
Thank you.
And we'll keep in touch.
Thank you, Matt.
I hope we keep in touch.
We will.
Get
Absolutely.
you back on the show after all this happens.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming over and being on the show for Wayne County and Richmond and anybody on YouTube that wants some inspiration. I don't know about me, but he's very inspiring. He's extremely inspiring. And this is what you meet when you get out in the world that you live in. Not where you're at, just that you live in.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to get in the programs.
There are opportunities throughout our community every day. It's just a matter of getting outside and seeing what's out there.
The topics discussed and the information provided on this program is for general information. The hosts of this show are not medical professionals and are expressing their personal views and stories related to their individual lives. Their views are not intended to be used or taken as medical information. If you or a family member have suffered a traumatic brain injury, you should seek help from a practicing licensed physician.